What is your purpose? This is a question I spend a lot of time trying to answer for myself, and I imagine some or all of you have done the same. A lucky few may already know your answer. Another group may feel extreme anxiety at the mere thought of providing an answer, and others of you are so busy just trying to finish school, you may have not yet considered the question. At some point in life, though, this question, what is your purpose, will begin to weigh heavily on you, and you will likely go in search of the answer. When I applied for my job here at Marshall, I was taken on a tour of the town as a part of my interview. Though members of university search committees work to highlight positive aspects of the community, I was delicately informed that there was a bit of a drug problem here in Huntington. Though my own life history is without personal experiences with substance use disorder, I have, regrettably, seen firsthand how drug use and abuse can not only affect individuals, but the friends, family, and loved ones of those who struggle with this disorder. During my first week as a new faculty member, I was hearing about a Netflix documentary about Huntington entitled Heroin. Since I was new to the area and had already seen We Are Marshall, but was still planning to watch it during the first week of class anyway, I thought I would see what all the hype was about. As a transplant to the area, I knew some community members were not happy with the film because Huntington had already received quite a bit of negative press in the national news media. Jamie Oliver's visit, highlighting obesity and other health-related problems, seemed to be old news, as Huntington was moving in a positive direction, having just been named America's best community. Just as things were looking up, this documentary, highlighting the opioid crisis in Huntington, had the potential to be another negative narrative. As I watched the trailer for the film, I was never worried or scared, nor did I regret my choice to move to Huntington. I rather felt that the themes in the film helped to highlight Huntington's greatest strength: its people, specifically the helpers who want to positively impact this community. When the parenthetical E showed up at the end of the trailer, I felt something else: empowered. Upon watching the entire documentary, I was encouraged to see how many powerful women were willing to step up to a challenge and work to make a positive difference in this community and in the lives of others. Additionally, these women really worked to humanize each individual who had fallen to substance use disorder and worked diligently to provide pathways towards successful recovery. In case you don't know, there are some really incredible people here in Huntington. As an avid traveler, I will tell you that you will find that to be true everywhere in the world. What you may not realize is that those incredible people you see around you have likely endured some type of extreme hardship, leaving them feeling utterly broken at some point in their lives. Though you may not have been there to observe the transformative process, I can assure you, one took place. So, how do broken people Humpty Dumpty themselves back together again, and why isn't that the case for everyone? I believe there are a variety of answers to this question, and each one is unique to each individual person. For some, it might be internal reconciliation through the use of prayer, meditation, and/or journaling. For others, it might be seeking out trusted friends, life coaches, or professional counselors to talk through their thoughts, feelings, and experiences in order to gain additional perspectives. Further forms of therapy can involve music, art, animals, and/or outdoor recreation, along with countless other methods of coping. And although each of the aforementioned pathways are seen as positive practices for coping, there are also negative forms that are sometimes sought that have extremely dire consequences. As a professor of choral music education, I often share my experiences as a public high school choral director with our future music educators. I'm going to be real honest here and tell you straight up that high school students are real pukes sometimes. You all know what I'm talking about. The attitude that seems to appear out of thin air, or the extremely questionable decision-making skills that seem to have deteriorated from the 2.0 model that you have just become accustomed to. And while most teachers and parents see this as a hormonal outburst or a student in need of a serious attitude adjustment and will respond accordingly, over the course of my career, I have come to learn that there is always a reason for this seemingly sudden change. The most important lesson I hope my students take away from my class is to look beyond the behavior to the root cause of the behavior. And while this idea is meant to help future music educators navigate the difficulties associated with adolescent development, the same idea applies to our interactions with others, specifically those we don't know. As a society, I think we are very quick to judge the actions and attitudes of others without really knowing anything about them or their life experiences. I have seen this firsthand here in Huntington. Yes, we have a drug problem. Simply addressing the behavior isn't enough. If we never understand what is causing it in the first place, we can't really expect a different result. Additionally, if we only ever address the behavior but never work to look at deeper levels of pain, drug use will persist. And while I am not suggesting that there are simple fixes to addressing substance use disorders, I do believe there is untapped potential in our community to help those who struggle in this area. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, 3 factors are highlighted as potential pathways to addiction: biology, environment, and development. Genetics are understood to account for roughly 50% of a person's addictive tendencies, while our friends, family, and the subsequent life experiences associated with those 2 groups also play a large role. The timing of first drug use is also of consequence, as drug use and abuse can significantly impact brain development and function over the course of one's life. The Mayo Clinic recommends early intervention and providing alternate strategies as potential responses to substance use disorders. As someone who has spent my entire career working with and studying adolescents, I can tell you that they often choose less than excellent mechanisms for coping. Unfortunately, in the current digital age, students often struggle to break that cycle and continue their pursuit of poor coping strategies as they transition into adulthood. In a 2014 review of the literature entitled The Uses and Abuses of Facebook, a review of Facebook addiction, psychological variables were linked to Facebook addiction, which is concerning if you consider the age of onset for most children and adolescents who engage in some type of social media. Addiction, in any form, rewires the brain to be desensitized to certain stimuli, particularly that which makes us feel good. And the earlier that occurs, the more problematic it becomes to one's overall development. This seems particularly problematic in areas like Huntington, where, due to a long history of labor struggles and exploitive industry in Appalachia, finding work and a sense of purpose is strained, leading individuals to seek out negative coping strategies. Though finding appropriate coping mechanisms for psychological ailments is only one facet of a very complex issue, it is the area on which I would like to focus in an effort to highlight a potential therapeutic outlet. As a music educator, I have experienced the transformative power of music. Not only have I seen music serve as a life-saving source of inspiration, purpose, and drive in the lives of my past and current students, I have also experienced it myself. As a music scholar, I have had the opportunity to study the science behind that phenomenon and truly believe that music, which is inherent in all of us, has untapped potential for everyone, but specifically those who are hurting here in Huntington. In his book, Musicophilia, the late neurologist Oliver Sacks discusses the power of music in the brain, specifically its ability to override debilitating diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and schizophrenia. Daniel Levitin echoes similar thoughts in his book, This Is Your Brain on Music, by stating, "Music listening, performance, and composition engage nearly every area of the brain that we have so far identified and involve nearly every neural subsystem. Music's ability to harness the entire brain may provide a valuable avenue for both prevention and recovery to those predisposed to a life of drug use and abuse, or those currently struggling with any form of addiction." Beyond music's power to impact the brain through the cognitive functions needed for music making, it also possesses a strong emotional component. In recent years, there have been a number of studies conducted on the benefits of singing in a choir, and though the quality of that research has been debated, both physical and psychological benefits to participants have been highlighted, with the greatest outcomes being a positive impact on psychological and social well-being. Dr. Mary Cohen in the Oakdale Community Choir utilized these principles to bring together inmates of the medium security Oakdale prison, identified as inside singers, and pairs them with community members, identified as outside singers. This group aims to connect people by acknowledging that despite our differences and the stigma attached to those who engage in negative behaviors, we are all humans in need of connection and a sense of shared community. This integration achieved by the members of this choir provides benefit to both inside and outside singers by allowing individuals an opportunity to suspend labels and come together under the common goal of collectively creating works of art. Additionally, members of the choir compose their own music to perform, and in so doing, are provided with valuable outlet in which to share their lived experiences. Choral opportunities like this are able to provide a sense of shared community, along with human connection, along with emotional and neurological engagement for active participants. Considering the impact that community choirs across the world have had on their local communities, I am hopeful that Huntington can benefit from such an experience. Not only would this be of value in helping to alter the stigma attached to substance use disorders by creating new and lasting relationships with community members from varying backgrounds, it could also provide a beneficial outlet for anyone in search of alternate forms of healing. Show of hands. How many of you would say you're musical? We got some work to do. How many of you would say you are singers? Oh, wow, that's even worse. Okay, well, guess what? You're both. In 2016, I conducted a study with roughly 200 high school freshmen and then completed individual interviews with 15 of those students. When asked how they engage with music on a daily basis, despite the fact that several students were involved in the band, every single student responded with listening. I would venture to say that all of us engage with music daily through listening. And if you are a consumer of music, then you are a discerner of music as well, which means you have developed some type of musical skill over the course of your lifetime, which you use to differentiate the music you like from the music you dislike. You are also all singers. Congratulations, and feel free to tell everyone that a professor of choral music just told you could sing. Now, you might not be ready for the next season of The Voice just yet, but you are all, aside from a rare medical malady, capable of creating or internalizing pitch through your auditory processing center and then recreating that pitch through the vocal mechanism. You might be looking at your neighbor and wondering, why is she telling us this? Because very shortly, you will all be singing. But first, a brief tutorial. Generally speaking, you need 3 things to sing. Since you're all still alive in here, we'll assume you've got the first one figured out. Breathing. And unless you've recently bartered with Ursula the Sea Witch for a hot date with Prince Eric, you've got the second, a voice. And though all 3 elements together can impact overall vocal quality, which is how we get the idea that some people can sing and some people cannot, the third component necessary for singing makes significant differences in the overall quality of one's sound, and that is the vocal tract. This part of the voice is responsible for resonance and makes significant differences in the overall sound of the voice. Now that you are all armed with a bit more information on the singing voice, and it's really only a tiny amount, I feel like I have to point that out, but it's okay. We are now going to put my entire teaching philosophy to the test. There is no pressure here. You're just gonna repeat after me, okay? So get ready for a fun, engaging experience for everyone. All right, just repeat after me. Hey-ya, 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 hey. You're doing great. You're gonna keep going. And you too as well. We're gonna sing a new melody. Ready? And hey-ya, 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 hey-ya. You keep doing that. Your turn. Hey-ya, 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 hey-ya. Nailing it. Now feel free to clap. If you're advanced, you can do the double clap. If not, stick with the other one. Very good. Bring it down now. Bring it down now, but keep singing. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Bring it up now. More clapping. Use the chair. Find a friend. But on the beat. On the beat, though. Nailed it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done, everyone. Now, this may not have been the musically transformative experience I spoke of earlier, but this exercise was utilized to showcase the power of collaboration with a community of people designed to help us better connect with one another. There is something about this exercise, using what you have, which likely feels inadequate to you, to create something beautiful and much bigger than yourself that will hopefully leave a lasting impact on you today. First, we must rid ourselves of the idea that singing is a gift granted to a chosen few. Music, more specifically the ability to sing, is inherent in all of us, And when we use music purposefully and collectively, over time, we can experience profound cognitive and emotional benefits. Secondly, please know that this world and those in this community who are hurting are not looking for people who are worthy of being followed, admired, or emulated. They are simply looking for people who are willing to give whatever they have, even when, and especially when, they feel what they have to give is inadequate. At the beginning of this talk, I asked, what is your purpose? For me, it is to make a positive difference in the lives of others. I believe Huntington can benefit from a singing experience that is designed to foster a sense of shared community that is specifically focused on helping those who struggle with substance use disorder. That is something I would like to be a part of facilitating. And now I hope I can count on all of you to join me. And though I truly believe that everyone can sing and would love to have you take part in such an outreach opportunity, you may feel that you are better equipped to make an impact in a different way. I would encourage you to think critically about your own skills and how you might use those to positively influence this community as you seek to live out your purpose. And I hope, like me, that by the end of this event tonight, you will feel as I did at the end of that documentary, empowered. So get out there, use what you have, lift your voice, and make a positive impact on those around you. Chances are, your greatest insecurities will become your strongest assets in making a positive difference in this world. Thank you.